Okay, so we're going to go into our next video on our selfie project, and this is going to be learning to use filters. So we're going to go to our share screen and to Photopia. And what I hope you see here now is I've finished my my adjustments. And so I got face one adjustments, and then I duplicated my face one adjustments and renamed them filters. So I got face one adjustments, face one filters, same set for face two, same set for face three. So you look, my number of layers is getting pretty long and complicated. So I got my locked background, my cutout, and my background copy. I'm just going to leave those as is. I'm going to be working in my filter layers now. So let's take a look at what we can do with filters. So I've got this as my current layer, face three filters. And I'm going to go to filters here, and I'm going to mess around with, again, this is just play and explore. What can I do? I don't need to just distort much on this image, I think, already. So I'm going to look at what can I do if I crystallize this image. And I'm going to play with. So how big can I make those, in this case, the cell size, how big can I make those cells that still more or less looks like a human face? If I go down really low, it pretty much doesn't change, but if I go up pretty rapidly, it starts to distort, and I still want it to look like the picture that it is, though. So that's the thing that I can do. And I can, again, always click and unclick your previews. Filters, render. See what it looks like as clouds. I don't know. Oh no, that's no good. So you don't want this to become something else. That's one of the things you should try to avoid, is have it so that we can see a chain of development from our background image to the transformation to the adjustments to the filters. And noise. Noise actually just adds the random lights and darks and color variants. You can really go up with that, but stylize. Let's emboss this, see what happens. Oh, see, that's kind of fun. So embossing of that basically creates, takes contrast and creates levels of contrast, creates vertical levels and shadows and stuff. From that to that, that's kind of fun. And it does sort of an inverted color negative of the things at the same time. Let's take a look at one more filter. I got a filter gallery here as well. Liquify is kind of fun. That's something I demoed before. That's sort of another distortion, but if I wanted to really it gives me a method for smoothing out some of these weirdnesses too. It's not an extreme. Okay, that's interesting enough. But different things I can do with that filter as well. Anyway, so these are, again, filters, things that we can do. Distort, adding noise, right? Fixed light. I'm gonna make this one do a mosaic. There. I'm gonna stick with that one. Hit OK. So now we got phase 3 adjustments, and phase 3 filters. Can go back to phase 2 filters. Make it current. And what could we do with this one? Ooh, I know a good one for this one. I'm gonna render this. No. I can make this into an oil painting. And I can just choose the nature of my brushes for the oil painting. See, it's doing really fun stuff with that. And my bristle details. I can mess around with all this stuff. Shiny. My lighting angle. And that can all change. Preview. I'm not nuts about that. Filter. Other. Sharpening, different renderings. There's a filter gallery you can choose as well. All kinds of fun tools to work with. So I'm zooming out here. And if you notice in the galleries, it's giving me my whole source image as well. It gives me tons of these different choices that I can, oh, plastic wrap, that's what I was going for. Plastic wrap, paint daubs. Motion ripple. And then we can always, again, you can always adjust all these things as they go. Oh, stained glass is always kind of a nice effect, except this time. And whatever you do, you still want the image to essentially still be a portrait. Then we have a texturizer, where we have all sorts of different textures we can lay on this. Bricks, canvas, frosted glass. It looks like on burlap. Then we can scale that burlap up so we can actually see the texture. Halftone print. I'm interested what's happening here with my colors. Do you see all that red that was coming through? I think it's because I had that red chosen there. So if I go back to my filter gallery and I want to make this a mosaic, stained glass, see the lines coming through now are black instead of red, which I think is desirable. And then again, my borders are smaller, my borders are fatter. So what I'm getting at here with this whole thing is this is time for you to explore what you can do differently with all these different tools. So it's a full exploration of, again, your artistic representations of what you're doing. And hopefully you can see in just a few easy steps. I'm going to stick with that. Oops. Back to filters again. Last filter. Oh, that's good enough for now. But hopefully you can see, again, in just a few easy steps, how we can get from our basic image, cutting it out, right? And then creating our transformations, our adjustments, and our filters. This was the final filter or adjustment that I did for this image. And to get that, I did image adjustments and I did threshold. I was just exploring and playing. And I found the poster eyes and the threshold invert is fun. And then again, combining and using these different tools together can do some extreme variance on what you're doing. I almost don't want to do a filter on this one, but just for the sake of argument, I would do a filter. And I'm going to say I want to just do something really quick with it. I'm just going to go to the filter gallery and make ocean ripples out of it. And probably bring the scale of that stuff down a little bit. And hit OK. OK saves the changes. That's what I neglected to do on the other one. So I can see that later on. I can see the transformation that I made, and that's kind of cool looking. But here's what I built from, okay, just doing the whole hierarchy, right? Started with that, did the distortion, did the adjustment, did the filter. And that's really become an interesting artistic image. That honestly doesn't look a thing like me, except for it's got the correct number of eyes and nostrils. But hopefully this is something that you can get something out of. And that will conclude this portion of our video. So we'll see you in the next one.